Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to today's live stream. How are we all going on this glorious, well, for me, Sunday morning, for quite a few of you, really early Sunday morning, and for some others, it's still Saturday evening. Oh, Saturday night, that takes me back a while. What was it? I can't remember the name. In the 90s, there was a song, Saturday Night, you know, on those disco-y type ones. So, strange how things pop into my little head. Let's go through, say some hellos. So, Marie, coming to us from Michigan, welcome to you. Teresa, good evening from North Carolina, welcome. Blonde Scales 1, good evening from Arkansas. Andreas, hello from sunny Brisbane. Yeah. Do you know, Brisbane's one of the... I haven't been to Brisbane. I've been to Cairns. Need to get over to Brisbane at some time. Alia Rose, hi from Pennsylvania. James, hello from London. Oh, it's fairly cold, I believe, over in London. I was talking to my brother-in-law the other day, and he was saying it's so cold that they're having the heating on all the time. And, you know, I think it's getting down to, like, into the negative still. Marie, making my Saturday night more fun, but thinking the Down Under peeps are ahead of me. I know this is really interesting, isn't it? The way that the time zones go. Always makes me wonder on Star Trek. You know, they come out with the star dates, but you never really hear any more about time zones or anything like that. And you know, when they're talking across the quadrant, I'm going to say the galaxy, but it's not the galaxy. It's the quadrant of the galaxy. It's quite interesting how they never really, you know, they always seem to be awake no matter where they are. You don't have this idea of, you know, like here in Australia it's the morning and in the States it's the evening. You know, and over them live scales it'd be even worse, I would think. Blonde Scales 1, it's tomorrow for them. John, greetings from New York. Welcome to you, John. And Marie, Saturday Night Fever. Yeah, that's one of them. It's another one. It was just called Saturday Night. It was a lady. Can't remember the name of it, but it was a big one. It's like one of those line dancey type ones that I can hear it in my head. I'm not going to even attempt to sing it because that would kill everyone's hearing. Just have a quick mouthful of tea. Star Wars mug today with peppermint tea. My voice is a bit croaky today. The temperature here at the moment is 25 Celsius, which is 77 Fahrenheit. During the week, we actually had a real nice cool period. Absolutely gorgeous it was. It was really nice. We was able to get out, you know, go for a little walk, get some fresh air. Yesterday, it went back to being hot. Not as hot as it has been. I think it went up to about 33 yesterday. But the humidity is currently 70%. It's currently 70% humidity. That's really killing my voice. I don't know why, but I feel like I've got a frog in my throat at the moment, so I apologise for that. Let me just refresh the comments. Come on, Gary, press the right buttons. No, that's not the right one. That one is. Ricardo, good morning from London. Blonde Scales 1, I've made inquiries with Just Turnings regarding a pen. Awesome. I've actually seen from 2 different people this week that they've ordered, I think at least one's received. I'm not sure if they've both received a Just Turnings pen. One guy yesterday said he's been in contact with Stephen because he likes to post his pen. So he was saying that Stephen's actually going to adjust it so he can post it, which is awesome to hear. These local makers really good. And you'll see today all the pens I've been using this week, well, most of them anyway, are Australian made. So you'll be seeing some Just Turnings pens shortly. I do like Stephen Just's pens. I'll say I've got 3 of them. And he keeps teasing by putting on more pictures, especially the Mimas ones. I'm quite liking a lot of the Mimas ones he's doing. And that's a resin that he actually pours himself. P90 camera. Yeah, we're getting closer, but not quite. The song you think Saturday Night by the Bay City Rollers. Let me just pull up. We'll go to the screen. There we go. Here's where I was doing my temperature comparison. Saturday night sun. There we are, Wigfield, that's it. Saturday night Wigfield. It is on YouTube. I'm not going to play it because you never know with YouTube if you end up getting demonetized. So that's it. That's when I was thinking of Wigfield. It was like, one of those ones where they would play at discos and everyone would get up and dance. One of those types of tunes. And yeah, I've now got it in my head, and I'll be going there for hours and hours and hours. Ricardo over in London, 3 centigrade, so that's cold. P90 camper, evening from Madison in Wisconsin. Blonde Scales 1, just have to wait for him to get more opal blanks from Turnt around the end of the month. Again, I found Stephen, when he's waiting for them, as soon as they come in, he's really, really good. Okay, so today's topic, as promised last week, I've done some fiddling with cables, so hopefully I can give you a live desk tour. Now, I'm going to be holding the camera in my hand, so it might be a bit shaky. Keep popping in the comments as we're going around. I'll try and keep an eye on them so I can hopefully answer questions a bit quicker. Let's go for a desk tour. So here we go. I've got the camera in my hand. So this is the desk. We'll come back to that. So we'll start with a room. So this, it actually was a games room. So I don't know if you can see there, the ceiling. There must have been like a pool table or something. So it's got the light in there. Never actually used that, but it's there. So over in that corner there, we'll start there we go. I'm trying to follow the right camera. I've got that many cameras. So there's the door into the room. It's double door, so that's, you can see the kitchen and the dining area. If I come on round, so over there on the left-hand side, we've got a three-seater settee. So that's where, when I get up in the morning, I'll sit there, iPad on my lap, going through the various news, looking at various, go through my emails, various stuff like that. During the day, if I want to read, I can go over there. I can go over there. If I'm happy, just writing something, resting on my lap, I can sit over there. Just a nice comfy area, like a thinking area as well. On there, I've got a couple of cushions. I've got a Baby Yoda, a Grogu, and I've got an Avengers. Next to that, we've got a cupboard of junk. So in there, I've got things like empty boxes. So over the past, let me point to the right direction. Over the past few years, my wife's been buying me some pop vinyls. I like to take the pop vinyls out so I can see them. But I do keep the box, so the boxes are in there where they're nice and protected. Also in there, I've got things like my printer paper. Got a couple of printers. The far one, that's an old laser printer. Just waiting for that to finish its ink, then that's going to go out to be recycled. And the one next to that, that's an inkjet printer. That's my main printer. I've got a scanner on it, so I can scan things quite easy. Got a little table there in front of the sofa, for my coffee cups, and, below that, things like there. My blood pressure cuff, I have to measure my blood pressure regularly. The little standing table, that's from IKEA. A lot of my furniture is from IKEA. That's one which, there we go. I'm hoping that the mic is picking up my voice. Just refreshing the comments for a second. Just making sure, in case somebody said, Gary, we can't hear you. I've got Blonde Scales 1, the joy of earworms. So this table here, this is when I'm doing my recording, I pull this in, and that's what I put a lot of my stuff on there. So on there, I've got this here, which normally goes on my desk at the side, just so I can put the pens down without making a bang. I've got a rubber grip in case I need some help to loosen something. I've got the scales of weighing. I've also got behind it a little turntable. I've never really used that. I do need to start thinking about how I can use that better. And then next to this, a little, like an LED snake light. Again, haven't really used it. Something I want to. A couple of times I've brought it in when it's been something where you can get a little see-through from the actual material. Just pop that back. Oops. Also got the rule of measuring. You just got to, I think you might have got a scary view of my shorts for a second then. Okay, so behind me we've got an IKEA unit. This is, I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's one of like the standard box units. So along the top, come on Garry, get to the right camera. So right there, they're all my non-Chinese pens, sorted by country of origin. Next to that, we've got these couple of little shelf units. Then pens are on one of these shelf units. These are from IKEA as well. They fit in perfect. They give me some little shelves. So I've got all sorts of junk. So I've got cables. So like my camera cable. Bits of like where I've taken the things off a notepad. Whoops, I'm showing to the mic. I should be showing to the camera. There we go. Various books. On here I've got a book of crosswords and Sudokus. So if I'm feeling a bit, what I find is if I'm feeling a bit bored, they're handy to have. Notebooks. Down here, this is where I keep my pens in use notebook and a couple of project notebooks. So I've got a number of projects going on. I like to try and dedicate one notebook per project. Yes, it could mean that you've got a lot of notebooks going, but it keeps it clean. Means I've got everything handy. Next to that, another shelf unit. So top one again, got more cables. This one is my USB-C cable. Let me just pop that away. We've got there the loop. Also have on here a USB-C drive, so whenever I make a video, once I've finished creating it, it gets put on there and everything I've used to make it, just so I've got a backup. And then after about 3 months, I'll go and clean it out, just to keep it down, and I'll delete any videos that have been published. So I've always got a backup there if I need it. Here, this is where I've got various pen cases that have come in. And we've got pencil case, old business cards, just bits and bobs, you know, like a junky type one. Then below that, these are my daily notebooks. So I've got here, this is the one where you see in my YouTube shorts. This is at the moment a Star Wars one. Then I've got my launch term 1917. This is that copper one from a few weeks ago. That's my daily journal. And then I've got my bullet journal, decorated up with some stickers here. Oh, sorry. And the far side, some more of them, and these are all Chinese. Again, very much put here by manufacturers. So I've got Moonman or Mahjong, Jinhao, Pen BBS, Wingsung, then some various, you know, from smaller makers. Below that, I've got, again, these are from IKEA. These are some little drawer units. You've got a rough idea what's in them because I label them. So I've got batteries, pens and notebooks, post-its, to file. So that, to file, what I do is every 3 months, I've got boxes out in the garage which are set up by quarter. So anything which comes in, I scan it, then it goes into the to file box. At the end of 3 months, so next one will be the end of March, I'll empty the March box from the garage. That goes into the shredding box. And then the contents of that will go into the March one. So I've always got, you know, the last year's worth of mail physically as well as scanned. Below that, various cables, business cards, just another bit of it like a junkie drawer. Then next to that, the grey one, other pads. So this is where, I'm not sure if you can see them, various notepads in there. I've got, these are mainly smaller ones. Below that there, oops, let me get that right. Video notepads, A4 notepads. So these are the pads that I use in my actual videos. So here you can see them in there. Keeps them all together. Keeps them, you know, slightly dark. Below that, I've got what I'm calling Tomoe River notepads. So that's like, you know, my Galen leather notebook. I've got an endless recorder Tomai River notebook. And I think once I start using the endless regalia paper, that might go in there as well. A cube, so again, an IKEA cube. Load of junk in there. Then at the bottom, over on the far left, that's where I keep my small crumpler bag. So that's like a very small, what my wife calls it, my man bag. Perfect size to fit my iPad Pro in it, and a notebook and my Galen leather folio. Next to that, that's where I keep the little light box. So what I've got now is a light box. When I'm taking photos of my pens, I try to use that. Below that, I will come back to a question that's been asked in a couple of minutes. So there, that's where I've got some of the boxes for pens. So as I get a pen in, I put them there. Every so often, what I'll do is I'll sort through them, get rid of the cheaper ones I'll get rid of. The ones I want to keep, I do have a plastic box in the garage, so that goes in there. Then the final one on the bottom, this was a quicker one on this bottom shelf. That's my large messenger bag. In there I can get my laptop, my iPad, all my writing stuff. Again, made by Crumpler. Both these Crumpler bags I've had about 15 years, and to be honest, they look fairly new. I take care of them, but they're handy to have. And depending what I'm doing and where I'm going is really depending which one I use. On the top of that case, we've got, there's a shelf on the wall with various boxes which have just nicks and nats in there. I've got that Galen leather pen box. There's only 2 pens in there at the moment. He says lifting this up because the others are all inked up. I've got my next action sign. So this month, or this quarter's theme, why are you doing this? So this is something. Everything I do, I'm asking to myself, why am I doing it? Why am I doing this? And the idea is to make sure I'm focusing on the right things. Next to that, you can see my camera. This is a Canon 7D. Again, oldish camera, about 12 years old, if not maybe a bit older. I used to take the photos of my pens for my thumbnails using my iPhone, but I've started using that. That's why it's there. When we've got Groku, and we've got the plastic green thing from IKEA. I can't remember what it was. There was some video I saw once, someone doing a desk turn. They said every YouTuber should have one, so I made sure I've got one. On the back, we've got various photos. So there's 3 photos resting there on the shelf. They are prints from an artist where I grew up, and they are fishing boats and the area around where I grew up. So it's a bit of a personal thing. Far end there, that's a jigsaw there that we did, and we framed it. That's Star Trek: The Next Generation. I like doing jigsaws. Right, so accidentally hit the mute button there. On this side, what you can see on the floor, this black thing, my desk is a sit-stand desk. And when I'm standing, I fetch this little rubber mat in and stand on that. Just gives a bit of protection. Got a cushion there. I'm just going to spin here. I also have a stool. I'm sat on a chair, obviously, at the moment. Depending on how my back is feeling, I may sit on the chair or the stool. And the cushion there, to be honest, is to give a little bit of padding for my poor little backside, because that stool can be a bit hard. So at the back, we've got, again, this. I think it was another cheaper one I got from IKEA. In there are all my notebooks. Now, I'm virtually at the full length of this cable. Hopefully, sliding that out, you can see. So in there, that's where I keep my spare notebooks. So I've got a Goulet one. Below that, again, another one full of notebooks. Oops, I've just knocked it off. And the same at the bottom. Next to that, again, not sure if you see it, that's my cleaning material. So I've got a multi-purpose spray that I'll use to wipe down my desk. And I've got an anti-static cleaner if I want to clean any of my screens. On top of that, there's a tray with a couple of boxes on. The one on the left, that's full of empty ink files. So I've been going through samples. And then the one next to it, that's where, again, I put my little bits that I use for my recording. So in here, I've got the Lamy Safari, and I've got my pen rests, and I've got a little vial holder. Okay, we come on round to another IKEA unit. We'll start on the top of it. Just trying to make sure that you can see. So at the end, I've got a box where I've got things like my ink misers, my ink holding tray, a couple of little grippers. Let me see. There we go. Spare syringes, emery boards, various bits and bobs that I need. I'm all about having things in boxes so I can easily grab them. Next to that, we've got stationery. You know, there's like my junk, things like, I do have a couple of ballpoints, fine liner, stuff like that I use. Next to that, there's another little stationery thing, so the top full of junk. Then we've got some shelves that I can use. Below that, all these pens. So this is like my working area. So these are all things that are going to be coming up that I'm going to be making videos on in the next few weeks. So as I'm filling them up, as I'm playing with them, as I'm trying them, I just put them there. So I've got them there and they're roughly grouped as I'll be using them. Got my inbox there. I've got another box. Why that we've got this box here is it's actually there just to give a bit of elevation. This is what I use on my desk. This is what you see on the videos. But obviously most of the time I don't need it. So it sits on top of there, and it's on there because that gives it a little bit of additional size. So it raises it up so I can use the front as well. And you can see there I've got my pen case. This is the Star Wars one that my wife has made. I've got my little blotter. So that sits on there. And I've got a little pen tray. Coming round, we've got a couple of clips. Can you see them here? On there, I've got my headphones, so they hang there out of the way. I've got the fan. The fan is definitely going today. And right at the other end, that's the tray where I put things to shred. On the actual shelves, so I'll start over on the left-hand side. I'll go up and down this time. So the top one, I've got there my calipers. So all the measurements I show, I take using calipers. So they just sit there. Got some Q-tips at the top. I've got my label maker. I like labeling things. Below that, the very bottom box, that's got all the pen wraps my wife's been making so that they're protected. This is a very, very dusty area where I live. So I keep everything in boxes, keep the dust off it. Coming back over, again on the top shelf, you know, my disposable gloves. So when I'm fiddling around trying to do something to a pen that's inked, I use them. I did see Miss Marilyn Darling using something like this a while ago, so I've got some of these. These just go over your fingers, so I'm going to be trying them once them gloves are gone. Got a little anti-static brush so I can brush the dust off my laptop. And then below that, at the moment, I've got my little Tomoe River Pens in Use notebook. So there you can see. That book, if I'm going out and about taking my pens, I'll pop that in just so I've got an idea what I've got. Then at the bottom, the pens there, they're all pens that I've got to do first impressions for, so you'll see them coming up over the next few months. Going down, we've got a plastic box. In that box, that's where I've got my last few ink samples, down to 8 ink samples. And then below that, the white box, that particular one is full of my diamine ink collection. Might do an actual video on that one day. Coming over, I've got these, which are little plastic document wallets if I need to take any documents out with me. I've got this Rhodium notebook. This is something I tried initially, is with my inks. Didn't quite like it, but still not sure what to do with that. The two index card boxes, they're full of my swatches. And then I've got my 2 plastic things there, so when I clean a pen, they're sitting there for, usually I'll leave them a couple of days, all stripped down so it gives them a chance to really dry. Also I've got syringes, so I've got 3 syringes there that I can use to clean them out. And then I've got things like, paper towels and stuff. The black pen case here, I'm going to use my foot. There you go. That black pen case, that's all my currently inked pens that aren't in daily use. And then below that I've got another box of ink. This time it's everything other than diamine. Just move this out of the way. We're coming over again. So here I've got another label maker. This is a Dymo label maker, so that makes them big sticky ones. Got my tissues, got my Kindle that needs to be charged, and various bits of, you know, hard drives and stuff. Below that I've got that crate there. That's notepads that I've used. I need to go through it because some of them I can throw out, but I'm terrible for hoarding. And then going on over the very bottom, you can see all the messy cables, loads of cables in here. And then again, a couple of other little cubes for junk. So at the side, over the back of that, there's the garden. You can see very, very sunny. I don't even think the camera can adjust to it. It's that bright. We've got over there a little unit. He says, can I, there we go, move it like that. So on there I've got things like lenses for my camera. My camera used to sit on there. And I've got some photos that I've taken. Just over from me, I've got a little seating area, so like 2 wicker chairs, one there and one on that side. He says you can hardly see it for the junk. Then in front of me, I've got a table. The 2 boxes, the wooden boxes, they're from IKEA from years ago. Next to nothing in them, but I use them to race up these models. So these are some of the models that my wife has bought me over the last few ink vents. They're put there because I can see them. You know, they're right in front of me. And then we're back around to that door. So let's try the desk. So with a desk, we'll start at this side. There's my coffee, my tea mug. Let's have a quick mouthful. There we go. And then for later on, I've got my Spider-Man with orange juice in there. Okay, my current, like what I call my rough book. This is where I just put all sorts of garbage. You know, I might doodle in it. Any quick notes I need to make. That currently is there, doesn't sit there all the time. I'll show you where it normally sits. Behind that, I've got my earpods case. There we go. And then I've got my mouse. This is a Logitech MX Master 3. Absolutely love this mouse. Really nice and comfy to use. And easy. Got a number of buttons which are quite easy to configure. I've got my keyboard for my Mac. I've got my iPad, which is showed a preview, so on there that should be what you can see. And then above that, well, actually let's shut this down a little bit. Behind that, I've got that box there, a little drawer unit. That's mainly there to actually raise up the monitor. Don't really have a lot in this. Not sure, because normally the iPad's in front of it, so it doesn't really bother me too much. I've got there a magic mouse, so I've got a spare mouse just in case, because that's a problem with rechargeable mice. You know, what happens if they run out of battery? And then on the next side, the thing with the the white cross on it, that's actually a Bluetooth speaker, fairly new addition to the setup. What I'm trying to do is reduce the number of wires and cables I've got on my desk, so that's what that's there for. Someone asked the other week, that purple thing, that's a fly zapper. Get lots of flies in here. Monitor, I think it's a Philips monitor. Yeah, it's a Philips monitor. It's either 28 or 32 inches. I can't remember which. That's my main monitor. You can actually see there. This is what I see most of the time when I'm recording. Next to that, actually driving what you see on that monitor. Here we've got a MacBook Pro. This is the M1 version. More than powerful enough for what I need. Again, this is where I'm running OBS. So you're now seeing me, seeing you, seeing me. Below this is a stand I got from Kmart, I think it was. That's where that notepad normally lives. It normally lives here. And then the pen that was sat on top of it normally sits on that little rest there. So it's out of the way. When I'm recording, I can't have easy access to that. So that's why I move it. But most of the time, that's where it sits. So I can get to it easy. When I'm recording, I put this iPad here. And this is what controls which of my inputs that go into OBS. So essentially controls what you see. Said we've got this board here. This is made by a company called Wiltshire. I bought it for Big W. This is what I use and what you see from my videos. I just think personally it looks nicer than the white or the off cream of the desk. And that also sits on this corkboard. This corkboard was the original mat I used. It came from IKEA, but it easily gets damaged. Why I've set this wooden one on there, this wooden one isn't exactly level, so this just helps to level it out and keeps it from wobbling. Got there my overhead unit for the camera. So all my videos, apart from obviously this one's using a Logitech, I can't remember what it is, a Logitech webcam. But normally all my videos are done using my iPhone 11, and all the overhead ones are done using this rig. So really shonky and put together. So at the back, what I've actually got is a cheaper tripod. Then that's rectangular thing there. That's actually a trigger unit for a flash for my cameras. So that fits onto that stand. And then this unit here is just an overhead arm. And as you can see, it attaches using one of those. So I couldn't actually physically attach it to that stand. So that's why that camera, that lighting unit's there. This is a dirt cheap unit I got, and then at the end sits the iPhone. It's something I want to replace. I'm not happy with it. It does the job. Why I use the stand, I have tried recording with it attached to the desk, but the problem is the desk does wobble a bit, even when it's down at its lowest. And because this is a cheaper arm, when it wobbles, it actually causes the camera to wobble, and you can physically see it. So that's why I do it this way, so that the camera arm isn't actually attached to the desk. Over here I've got another monitor. I think this is a 26-inch Kodan monitor. That's sitting on top of a 2018 Mac Mini. So you can see there's my notes for today. The whole idea of that is that's more like a server. So I've got my external hard drives connected to it. So the laptop I can take anywhere, and if I want something from my external hard drive, I just connect to this one and I can get access to it. I also use this things like when I'm uploading to YouTube, and just set it going on there and it just runs away in the background. Got here actually this arm here, this is I think it's a Rode NT1. The arm cost more than the mic. This is attached to the desk, so obviously this has got my microphone attached. It's a very good quality one. Haven't been able to find one which I can get that would hold the camera there. Then on here I've got my mic. This is a Blue Yeti. Had this not long after I started the channel. Let me just have a quick mouthful of drink again. So really I like this. I do, as I've said in the past, I want to save up to replace it. Not because I don't like the mic. I love the mic. It's got a lot of different functions. I use the cardioid function, which means only this part here is active. It does have functions where you can have both sides active and all the way around it active, but I just use the front. I keep it close to my mouth so I can have this like foam on here to help stop with things where peas and stuff like that would come out and really overdrive. I think they call them plosives. I just think it's a really nice quality mic, and it's USB, so it just plugs into a USB port. And the last thing I've got, here we go, I'll show you this. This is today's pens for when we're going. I like this little pen tray. It was something I got from Pen Chalet. It came in a box, but I just pulled the tray out. And this is handy. So the pens I'm going to be working with for any particular video all sit in this tray, just so they're handy. So that's my desk tour. Let me just pop this camera back. Right, hopefully I can get myself positioned properly again. Right, let's go there like that. So the camera now just sits between the laptop and the monitor. It covers over a little bit of the bottom side of the monitor. Okay, let's go back for the comments. So, Blonde Scales 1, we hear you. Andreas. Sorry, excuse me a second. That's just reminding me of a dilemma I'm having. Do people keep all of their pen boxes or throw them away? So yes, I know what you mean. I'm a terrible hoarder. So I just showed you that little shelf. So as I get new pens in, that's where the pen boxes go. And then what I do, every so often, I'll go through them. Things like, the Chinese ones, the cheap ones, to be honest, or where it's just a plain box. To be honest, I put them in the bin. Where it's a nicer pen, so things like, my Pilot Custom 823, the Visconti Homo Sapiens, the nicer ones I do keep. Why I do that is just in case I do decide to sell them, so I can actually sell them in the box. But most of them, I've got to be honest, after a while, they just get put in the bin because I don't really intend to ever sell my pens. But I don't know. I'd say I'm just terrible for hoarding, and I know it, and it's something I have to work hard about. BJ, hello everybody. Welcome to you, BJ. Welcome to Miss Marilyn, darling. Loved seeing your little thing around Disneyland the other day. That's somewhere I've always wanted to... Oops, pulling my glasses off. That's somewhere I've always wanted to go, is Disney. I'll never get there, but it's something you can always want to go. And to be honest, it'd be wasting my money because with my various medical issues, I can't go on any rides anymore. I used to love roller coasters, but never mind. Chris Robinson, you can't keep pen boxes. The only reason to keep them if you're going to sell the pen. Yeah, completely agree with you. Most of the pen boxes, I say, especially, where it's just blank, there's nothing on it, it's just a plain box, they're as well off in the bin as they are being kept. Some of the Blonde Scales 1, some of the boxes, once you clean out the pen nest, can be used for small craft items. Yeah, again, with you on that. So before I throw any out, I always do check with my wife. She's the crafty cow in the house. I always make sure, just in case she wants to use them. Alia Rose, I've been doing a brutal clean and tossed all but one pen box. Always breaks my heart when I do that, but yeah, you do need to do it. Blonde Scales 1, my Schaefer Balance lives in an eco box. It fits nicely into the pen slot. Yeah, again, that's the beauty of a lot of these boxes, if you can repurpose them. What is it they say? Reuse, recycle, repurpose or something like that. So yeah, good idea. Aries, welcome to you. BJ, I keep my boxes. Also is a reference of how deep I've been digging my pen hole. Yeah, I know what you mean there. Aries, is this the summer setup? To be honest, no, it's the setup I've got virtually all year round. Biggest difference between summer and winter is in the summer I keep the blinds open. In the winter I'll close them. Reason for that is, to be honest, I keep it open because I need that door open to get air coming in because it can get very, very hot and sticky very, very quickly. Where I live, it's built on sand dunes. It's very, very dusty. I mean, to be honest, the desk gets dusted down every couple of days because it gets covered in dust. Again, one of the reasons why a lot of stuff's in boxes, keep the dust off it. Aries, I find that curtains and other fabric things is the culprit for most of the dust. Yeah, a lot of that does happen here. I say with the door, we do have a screen door, but it still blows the sand in. And yeah, we're constantly getting sand in the house. I'm calling it dust, but it isn't. It is actually sand. Wool Hodge, hello everybody. Hope you're all well. Marie, do you have a link to the Fly Zapper? Can't remember. I think it was. Let me just check. I've not got you on the screen at the moment. Let me just check. I'm gonna go Amazon. I'm not showing you this because I'm going through my list of Amazon orders. Just to I think it was last year we got it. Just going to see if I can quickly find it. I'm sure it was Amazon we got it from. Maybe not. Fly Zapper. I'm just having a quick look. It would have been either... There we go. Let me just switch over. There we go. That's it. So yeah, it was Amazon. This is obviously Aussie dollars. we've got a number of them around the house. Every so often you hear a crack as one flies in there, but they're quite useful. We've got, to be honest, we haven't got just that make. We've got a number of different ones, all in different parts of the house. We've got some bigger ones which we keep outside on the patio. We've got, so they're all over the house. Andreas, I'm enjoying the walkthrough. Really impressed by how tidy your units are compared to my study. Yeah, it's more for practicality. I like to be able to easily grab things. You could say I'm slightly OCD. Never been diagnosed, anything like that. And yeah, it's just make things easy to get to. I like to label things. I love labeling things. One of the most important tips, if I can teach anybody anything, label things. You'd be surprised by how quickly that you would actually get use from that. And I say, because it's so dusty, this is why everything's kept in boxes, just to help keep things clean. John, is that a Karen pen on the desk by your laptop? Absolutely. There's my Waterman Karen. So what I do is, well, as I've said, each week I have one pen where I'm now using for my responses. This is the one I've started using today for the next week. My Waterman Karen, Diamine Ox Blood in there. Beautiful match. So in tomorrow's YouTube short, you'll see that appearing in there. And that's just there, just so I've got something in case I need to write some notes. BJ, loved the walkthrough, thank you. I was a bit unsure about it, but I'm glad I did it. The one thing I didn't show is I didn't show my lights. I'm not going to lift these up. I've got two lights at either side of my desk. In there, when I bought them, they came with them curly, is it CFD type bulbs? I've got rid of them. In there I've got daylight balanced LED. There's only one bulb in each turned on, and that gives enough light which I think lights me up quite nicely, especially when it's balanced with the daylight. So I've got daylight coming in from the front and from the side, and I've just hit my overhead camera. Blonde Scales 1, thanks for the turn. Thank you for joining in. Miss Marilyn, darling, Disneyland rides aren't that violent. I've got high blood pressure and I go on most of the roller coasters and I'm fine. I wish it was just that. I've got my poor old heart is on its last legs, I tell you. So I've got something called ventricular tachycardia. So my heart rate goes really, really bad. I can't even walk 100 meters at the moment without my heart going funny. Just getting funny messages. Hopefully things are looking all right. John, do you have any micro mesh or nib repair tools you recommend? So on the shelves, I've got this box. I won't go through this today, but this is what I call my nib repair box. So I got from Goulet Pens, I got their kit, so I use that. I've got the micro mesh here. But also, this is something I find useful because I like a bit of feedback. I keep an emery board. Nicked it off my wife, that she uses for her nails. What I'll do that as a separate tour, actually having a look through that one day. Oh, I've just noticed the box had broken. I'll put that away properly in a minute. Miss Marilyn, darling, reduce, recycle, reuse, and close the loop. Absolutely. Aries, are you living in the outback? No, I live about 70 kilometres south of Perth. It's a beachside resort. To walk, it takes about 25 minutes. To drive is about 5 minutes down to the beach, just through the suburb. And that's onto the Indian Ocean. Beautiful, gorgeous beach. Really, to be honest, one of the nicest beaches. But it's very, very sandy. So obviously, over time, the ocean has receded a bit, leaving massive dunes. The whole area used to be dunes. Out our front door, we live right on the edge of the suburb, so we face over open ground and it's all dunes, and we get kangaroos, so we see kangaroos. I'm not going to say every day because I don't go looking out every day, but whenever you sit there for more than a few minutes, you see kangaroos. Obviously, we get snakes, we get all sorts of lizards. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, but beachside. Marie, I think Karina loves to plan. Just said that Waterman is her favourite pen at the moment. Yeah, this Karen is gorgeous. It's 18 karat gold nib. Not going to be featuring it today, but absolutely love it. And this is in the marine amber. I would like eventually to get, there's a green one which I'd like to get as well. Will Hodge, in Texas, those bug zappers are entertainment on a Saturday evening on the porch with a six-pack. Absolutely, I know what you mean. You know, we can be sat in another room watching TV and suddenly you'll hear this. And especially, we get a lot of moths around here. They attract the moths as well. And when you get a moth fly into it, it can go on for about 2 or 3 minutes with it as it keeps like trying to move up and down. I know, really sad, isn't it, that I like that sort of thing. Repair. What's top? Oops. Marie, lol, Will. Miss Marilyn, darling, totally understand. Blonde Scales 1. Make a note for the repair kit tour. Yep, I've done that. I've just made that note now. Blonde Scales 1. Do you get flying foxes? No, I don't think we get them even over here in Western Australia. I'm not 100% certain. Certainly we don't see them. What we get a lot of kangaroos. One thing I've not seen since we came... Now, we lived in WA for, I want to say 13 or 14 years. Don't see koalas. We used to see quite a lot of wild koalas when we lived over in Victoria. I'm onto the orange juice now in the Spider-Man one. Going really long today. I'm going to get in trouble from the wife, I think. Let's just refresh. So, yeah, no, we don't get any flying foxes. Unfortunately, I'd love to see them. What we do get here, my wife hates it, is there's a little tiny, about that big, looks like a mouse, but it's not a mouse, it's a marsupial. And we had a couple of those in the house. My wife absolutely hates mice. So, yeah, I definitely know when we've got one of those in the house because she soon lets me know. Right, not going to be sure how this is going. I've turned the fan off because I've moved over to the paper. And I don't want the paper going anywhere. So, this week's pens. We started the pen with a pen that I use all week. These are for my replies. So, I've been using the Leonardo Memento Zero Grande. This is in dark Hawaii. This has got the old style section, which I really like. I hold my pens low down, and this is just perfect for me. Just trying to move this mic a bit. So we've got here Leonardo. I'm just going to put MZ Grande. It's a really long name to write otherwise. This has got a medium steel nib. 377 Aussie dollars. The ink by Diamine. And it's Jack Frost. Really like this ink. Don't see a lot of sheening on it, which is one of the things I was a bit disappointed with, but I do like the base colour. Love this Leonardo. It was my first, to be honest, one of the first expensive pen that I bought. I still enjoy using it. Next up, we get into my daily pens. So we start off with the Just Turnings Mimas. This is black copper. Absolutely beautiful. Very, very nice. Love the colour. As we've said earlier on about Just Turnings, he's really, really responsive. Really wants to help. Understands what he's doing with the material. Absolutely awesome pens. On here, I've got a medium nib. Now, I'm just agitating this a bit as I'm talking because it's the only one that I've got this in. This is a shimmer ink. All the rest of my inks are standard inks, but this is a shimmer. So I'm just trying to hopefully get some of that shimmer going. The paper, by the way, this is a Midori cotton pad. So it's one with some cotton in it as well. So we've got here a Just Turnings. Really nice to write. Mimas. Medium nib, Yoho nib. 170 Aussie dollars when I bought it. I believe they've gone up in price since then. The ink is Van Diemen. Twilight Mist. Now, I think I said in the video, the Aussie video, with all these pens, because they're handmade, you need to contact the maker to get actual prices. I'm just giving you, what it was when I've paid for it. It all depends what material you want, what options you want, what designs you want. So the prices can vary. So well worth getting in touch to get an idea for pricing. So that's the Just Turnings Mimas. Sticking with Just Turnings. So very, very similar shape. This one, though, is the Enceladus model. And this has got a Brooks Blanks Elven Wood. And this has got a matte finish where all the rest of the pens, they've got gloss finishes. Very nice. It is resin, it's not wood. Although you wouldn't know that to look at it. Got on here again a different nib. This is a Cypress or Mr. Cypress nib. This is a broad. First time I've had one of these nibs. Really enjoying it. So we've got Just Turnings. This nib does feel a bit stiffer, but it's still fairly new. And it's the Enceladus. I'm going to put in brackets Elv because it's Elven Wood. Broad nib. And this is getting the right price. 195 Aussie dollars. Now, the ink I've had in this was Van Diemen Deciduous Beach, which is an orange coloured ink. Just to show you it quickly, let's fetch this out. Here we go. So there's the orange coloured ink. But that ran out the other day, so I swapped it. So still sticking with an Aussie maker, so it's now Robert Oster. And it's Aussie Brown. I didn't do my little smudge up there. Let me do a little smudge with that Mimas. Now, not sure if we can see it. There is a bit of that shimmer there coming through on that Twilight Mist now it's dried. Do like this Aussie Brown. Haven't used it as often as I should do, but it's very nice. So, yeah, Just Turnings Enceladus. 3D printed pen. This one is made by Platypus Pens. He's based over in Melbourne. Just Turnings is based in Brisbane. I went for green and white. Went for green because my favourite colour. Again, we've got a Yoho nib on here. And similar cartridge converter. Now, one of the things he does, yes, it's 3D printed, but he also puts a weight in it. So I've got a weight, there's a weight just down here. So it doesn't roll as much, which is quite handy because that's a problem with, a lot of the pens. They roll so easy and there's no roll stop on them. But this is really nice. I love the material on this. Hopefully you can see the pattern. But it feels really nice when you're holding it. So this is Platypus Pens Model 10. Broad nib. Price wise, $170 when I got it. Not sure what the price is now. The ink is by Van Diemen. So again, it's an Australian made ink. It's called Apple Island Green. Gorgeous feedback on this. It's a pen, I don't know why, I don't use it often enough. I should use this more often. I think because compared to the others, it looks a bit plain. I do like a little bit of visual interest with my pens. Back to Just Turnings. So another Enceladus model. Again, another Brooks Blanks. This is Golden Blue Jay. So although it looks black, it's not. It's a very dark blue. And we've got this gorgeous colouring in there. Try and get it central to the camera for you. Very nice. Yoho nib, broad nib on this. Again, cartridge converter. Very nice in the hand, really does feel well. So this one just about posts. And I'll say if you contact him, he can make adjustments for you. So this is a Just Turnings. This nib is quite smooth. Again, it's an Enceladus. Golden Blue Jay. broad nib. Yoho nib compared to the other Enceladus, which is the Cypress nib. And the price for this was 185 Aussie dollars. The ink is Robert Oster. And it's terracotta. Not an exact match, but I do think there's some colours coming out there, especially up here. He says, let me just move this up, then you can actually see it, can't you? Up here we seem to have some terracotta-y type colours. I do normally try and match the pen and the ink colour. Sometimes I don't. I'm trying to force myself not to more often because, you know, just to try and stretch myself, but quite often I do match them. Next up, we've got that pen below. This is a large pen. Just going to fetch in that Enceladus so you can see them compared to each other. And then what I'll do is the Karen. So a really large pen. Very nice there. This was an experimental material he created called Something Special. A couple of people have asked if this is wood. It's not. This is resin. But it has got a very woody type look to it. Very long section on this, and again we got a Yoho nib on there, and this one is a broad nib as well. So this is that pen bloke. Been eyeing up his pens again lately. He just calls it a fountain pen, and it's got a broad nib on it. Price wise, this was, get the right one, 190 Aussie dollars. Again, check with him for current pricing. The ink by Robert Oster. And it's Ride Green. Nice bright green ink. I really like this. Again, ink I don't use often enough. I do have a full bottle of it, and I do need to use it more often. And I think it goes well with this, to be honest. Then the final pen for the week. This was yesterday's pen. There we go. This is actually wood. This is Northern York gumbo. The actual trees that this comes from, they only grow about half an hour's drive from where I live, so a bit of a personal linkage there. Also, York, where I grew up in Yorkshire, and when just before I moved to Australia, I lived about a 10-minute drive from York, so again, a bit of a personal connection. And I like that sort of thing. I like that personal connection when you've got things like this. Very nice. Fully lined with ebonite, even inside the cap. Ebonite section. Again, a Yoho nib. So this is Pens by Casey. Follow him on Instagram. Most of these pens are from people that sell on Instagram or Facebook. And I've got to remember how to... This is the Mok Uzai model, and it's the 13, and oh no, it's a 1.1 stub nib. Beautiful natural line variation with this. Not cheap. Well worth it. Again, contact him for pricing. He's got loads and loads of different woods. He's got resins, loads of different choices. And the ink in here is Robert Oster. And it's Cafe Crema. Gorgeous pen. And purely because people were asking, here we've got the Waterman Karen. Whilst that's, let me just fetch something up here. No, I won't. So we've got the Waterman Karen. I was going to try and fetch up the pricing, but it's on the wrong screen. The Waterman Karen. Medium, 18 karat gold. The price for this, let me just get up my app. 1 second. I wasn't intending to show the pen, so I didn't get the pricing details. So let me just grab them. So when I last checked the pricing on this, which was back in February, it was 430 Aussie dollars. The ink, I say it's by Diamine. Diamine, let me just switch back. And it's Oxblood. I think this is a really good combo, works really well together. So that's all my pens for this week. Let's go on back to the camera and we'll go through. Blonde Scales 1. I've been watching a YouTube channel where she does flying fox rescues. Hang on a minute. Let me just turn that fan back on because I'm starting to get hot and sticky. The paper's flying all over again. Let me just pop that down. Yeah, I think flying foxes. I think I do remember seeing some. I think it was when we went to Queensland, when we went to Cairns, but that's quite a few years ago. Alia Rose, Jack Frost is such a great ink. It is. I say the only thing that really disappointed me is I would have liked to have seen more of the sheen come through. But it's nice and subtle, and I think it looks really good. It's a really good ink that you can actually use in a professional setting. BJ, those just turning pens are gorgeous displays of depth of colour and understanding of pen design. Absolutely. Same with all of them, to be honest. There's another maker that I've spotted on Instagram. So I'm currently saving up. So I've got about halfway there. So hopefully when I get my next YouTube payment, which is which will be about 3 weeks' time, there'll be enough there to actually get one of his pens. So I'll be looking at one of his. And then I'm always looking now for new makers. So if you know of any Australian makers, let me know. Blonde Scales 1. How easy is it to change the nibs in a Just Turnings pen? Dead simple. It's just a standard Yoho unit. So you can pull the nib out. You can, I believe you can unscrew. I haven't tried unscrewing one. I believe you can unscrew it. But yeah, the nibs will just pull out. And I've done that a couple of times. Like with that Mimas where I've got that shimmer ink. Once that's finished, I'm not going to be using that ink in there anymore. I'll pull out the nib and the feed. The feed I'll actually then go through an ultrasonic cleaner. I'd like to do that when I've had a shimmer ink in anything. Just give it a really good deep clean. The grips, they look nice and long and comfortable. Absolutely are. Wool Hodge, if a pen has a step down to the grip section, I prefer a long grip section. I do prefer more smooth transition from the grip to the section. Yeah, this is the beauty with that pen bloke. I mean, that section must be maybe 2 centimeters, so maybe about 3/4 of an inch. Really nice. John, any budget friendly Australian pens? Let me grab my box. So I do have another couple of pens which I haven't brought out. I might fetch them out later on. This one, to be honest, they're both kit pens, which is why I've not brought them out. Let me go over to the camera, to the phone again. That might be easier. Let's move that out of the way. So this one here, I got off eBay. I think it was about 30 Aussie dollars. The wood's called Golden Sassafras. I say it's a kit pen, so not the most exciting of pens. But the wood, Golden Sassafras, is an Australian wood. I think it's just like a sheath they've put over. And I say it was about 30 Aussie dollars. Came from Tasmania. If you just search for handmade pen Australia on eBay, chances are you'll see loads of them, because there's loads of different options. Then the other one, again, based on a kit pen. This came from Fremantle Market, so that's about 40 kilometres from where I live. Had this a few years. This is, again, it's a fountain pen, kit pen. What he's done though, this material, is he makes his own resin. So in here we've got like greys, we've got like sandy colours. What he does is he's actually gone out and he's collected various like sand and soils and various minerals, ground them all up, mixed them in with a resin and created his own resin. This was 100 Aussie dollars, but it also came with a similar ballpoint pen. The ballpoint pen was absolutely no use to me. I didn't want it, but he only sells them as a pair. But it was $100, so you could save $50 each. And again, based around a kit pen. And to be honest, that's the reason why neither of those came out in this month's Aussie selection. I did think about it, but because they're kit pens, that's what not put me off, but I wanted to go for proper handmade pens. P90 P90 camper. Just wanted to share, received a Hondian N6 this week with the long blade architect type nib. Have you ever tried it? I'm really enjoying the line variation. I haven't tried the Hondian long blade. I do have a couple of what's the maker? It's not Hondian. Come on, Gary, use your brain. It's not Hondian. Anyway, it's another Chinese maker that they do long blades. What's the name of them? Come on, Garry. Where would I have the details? I know how we can get the details. Let's try this. I've never tried this before. We're going to do something new. So what I'm doing is I'm launching my pen app over on my iPhone. I've just unplugged it, so we've got the phone here now. And hopefully I can show you the screen. No, it doesn't show you the full screen. Can I fix that? Video capture, iPhone. Let me just see if I can drag that over, drag that down. Can I make this so we can actually see the whole thing on the screen at once? You're seeing Garry live tweaking here. Getting closer. Getting closer. I think we're there. And let me just hide that. Now hopefully you'll be able to see most of my screen now. So this is actually my app, and in here, so these are all my inked pens. But hopefully I'll be able to spot what it is. So it's definitely not the Hondian. I wonder if I search for it, will it fetch up if I search? No. Come on, Garry. Which pen's it on? It might be on a Jinhao. We'll give this one last chance. If not, no, it's not on there. Can't remember what it was. No, sorry, my brain's failed me and I just cannot find it. So that was a quick look at my app. Seeing as I'm mentioning that, I meant to mention this earlier on. There is a new version of the app now available on the App Store. So this is an app I've written for managing fountain pen and ink collections. It's called Penlist, Penlist, and a really inventive name, isn't it? And yeah, I find it really, really useful. So I've got my entire collection there. You know, I keep history, so whenever I start an ink, I record it. Whenever I finish it, I record in it. It's all kept in the app. You know, let me just fetch it up again. I'll give you a quick, very, very quick. I wasn't planning on doing this. We do it on the camera. We want the iPhone screen. iPhone vertical. Yeah, there we go. You know, so I can go in here. I can look at, say, my Jinhao X15. Not good. Yeah, the Jinhao X450 here. I can go in. I can look at the usage. So how often I've used this pen. What inks have I used it with? Same with the inks. So I can look at ink usage. How often have I used that? For doing my reviews, so the reviews that you see here, I can create my review. Then I just export that into a spreadsheet. and that becomes my script. So these are all my inked up pens, so I've got pictures there so I can see what they look like. Manufacturers, so I can go through, look at all my manufacturers, so I can go and say, look at Diamine. Here's all my Diamine inks. I can go and look at a particular one. Again, got details of it. I can look at that, what types I've got. So I've got ink there. I've just got this as container type. I can actually say that's a bottle. The number there, that's a number I assign to it. Really useful. Works on my phone, works on my iPad, works on my Mac, and syncs between them all. So I've got my entire collection in there. My to buys, so things I'd like to buy. As you can see, I've got quite a long list of things I'd like to buy eventually. But I can break that down by manufacturer or by type. So and look at what pens I'd like to buy. So it wasn't intended to do this, just a very quick look at the app. P90 camera, that's it, it's a Kaigaloo, the Kaigaloo long blade knife. BJ Kaigaloo, BJ, thumbs up to everybody. Yeah, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button every time you like, every time you comment. Just helps with the YouTube algorithm. We're running really, really late today. P90 camera, very cool app. Yeah, I spent ages, my passion, well, obviously fountain pens, but my passion is application development. It's all I've ever wanted to do. So nice to be able to tie multiple interests together. Will Hodge, received my Hongdian C1 pens. Hooded nib so far. First one is a great writer, no tuning needed. I tend to floss nibs to get them a bit wetter, but these have performed rather nicely. Yeah, I do tend to floss a lot of my nibs, especially the Chinese ones. I do find that the tines usually are quite tight. Right, let's just check any more comments. Right, I shall launch into PowerPoint time. Well, keynote time. I'll go back to the screen. So, last week's videos. Let me just get rid of the comments. Let me go back there. You don't need to see that. Let me just hide that. Then we go back. And back to the screen. So, last week's videos. So, Sunday we had that Just Turnings Elvenwood First Impressions. Absolutely love this pen. Really, really nice. It's still showing that comment. Why is it still showing that comment? I don't know. Never work with computers. Hopefully that should now, yeah. We're back to the presentation. Okay, so that was last Sunday. Tuesday, we had February's wrap-up, so how I got on with my videos from February. Friday, Aussie, introduction of my March pens, which we've just been through all of them. Yesterday was an interesting video. Over on Tricky Little Questions, I looked at the history of Easter eggs. I thought a couple of weeks till Easter, so it's a good time to actually look at it. And that was quite interesting. There was more to it than what I thought. It was more than just the religious side, which was really quite interesting. Videos coming up. So today, this afternoon, we've got the grand final of the fountain pen tournament. We've got the Twisby Eco going up against the Monteverde Ritma. Really enjoyed making this. I quite enjoy these tournaments. It's a way to explore quite a few pens, and I think it's really good, really enjoyable. Tuesday, what I'm going to do is, it's a little chatty video. I think it's about 8 minutes long. It's not awfully long. But what I do is I look back at the tournament and I explore what I thought about it, how I felt about it, and also discuss some potential changes for future tournaments. Everything should be continually evolving. So this is me coming out with my thoughts, and hopefully I'll get some nice feedback from that. So maybe even next Sunday we can actually talk about what things I'm going to change. There is one big change I want to make, and I'd love people's feedback on that. Friday, I've got my March ink comparison, so it's 2 green inks. I have filmed it, and I can't remember what the inks are now. I think it's Robert Oster Ride Green and Pilot Irishizuku Shinryoku. Yeah, it is. They're the 2 inks. So 2 different variants of a green. Again, really nice. Saturday, tricky little questions. It's true and false quiz time. So 10 quiz questions. Again, true or false. Bit of a fun video. Again, I like making these quiz ones. It takes me quite a while to prepare it because I like to try and source my answers from at least 2 different places, and quite often multiple places, but even more than that. But it's a way of, even though they're fairly quick questions, in coming up with them, it gives me a chance to grow my own personal knowledge because I'm really digging into it and trying to understand what I'm talking about. And then book of the week. So Lords and Ladies by Terry Pratchett. Got about 100 pages left to go in that. So we've got our lovely friendly witches in here. We've got some wizards as well. We've got a bit of a backstory with Granny Weatherwax and Ridcully, the head wizard. I can't remember what his title is now. Gosh, I'm really going through my juice today. I've got to be honest with you, I'm surprised my voice has kept up. Really enjoying it. Once this is finished, next book is going to be, I think it's Phantom by Terry Goodchild. So back into that more serious fantasy book for a while. That's book 2 of a 3-parter, I believe. So that's the what's coming up section. Back to the comments. Ricardo, gentlemen and ladies, I must go now. A few hours. I'll be attending the London Spring Pen Show. Have a great weekend, everyone. Do you know what I love watching? I love watching the videos that Penultimate Dave does when he goes to these pen shows. I think it's quite interesting. I mean, I'm never going to get to a pen show. They don't have me here in WA. There is one in Australia, but I think it's either in Melbourne or Sydney. Just way too far for me to go. P90 camera. Ricardo, have a great time. Ricardo, thanks. That's all the comments. I'll leave it a few seconds more in case any more comments come in. So thank you everybody for your time today. I'll sit forward so you don't have to see my lumps around my body. There we go. Will Hodge, my last ink purchase was 4 bottles of Sailor inks and 2 bottles of Roshizuku inks, kind of a Japanese theme. Lovely inks. Yeah, I haven't bought inks for it. I'm on an ink buying freeze. I'll do a tour of my ink boxes. I've got well over 100 different bottles of ink, so I've got to use some of those up. Blonde Scales 1. Have a great week, everybody. Will Hodge, bye all, be safe. Great to see all. So, as I said, hit that thumbs up button every time you like. Really does help with the YouTube algorithm. Don't forget, membership is available. Membership, ads, everything like that, all does help to support the channel so that I can essentially buy more pens, buy more stuff to actually fetch to you. Pardon me. And I say I want to save up, try and improve my audio setup. One of the things they say with videos, audio is something like 80% of a video. The audio is more important than what you see. People will put up with bad, or lower quality video, but they won't put up with lower quality sound, which I can quite understand. So thank you, everybody. Let me do one last check to see if there's anything else come in. Travel by Books, Teresa. Good night, everybody. Will Hodge, thanks, Garry. Take care. So thank you, everybody. I'll leave the comments open for a minute or so. P90 camera, take care all. So whilst the outro is playing, I'll leave the comments open. I will be monitoring them. And I'll talk to you again soon.